Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining our presentation on What's in Your Collections Toolkit, put together by the collections librarians at McMaster Libraries, Wei Zhang, Janice Adlington, Casey Hoovey, Andrea McClellan, me, Paige Roman, and Cameron Wheaton. As anyone working in collections might know, there's no shortage of tools out there that claim to make your work easier managing and evaluating collections. At McMaster Libraries, we've had some increased capacity to be able to evaluate emerging tools in the following areas. So collection management, access, open access support, bibliometrics, and AI. In this presentation, we'll be talking about the products or tools that we've implemented, their utility, their strengths and weaknesses, and then consider our next steps. So before we begin, we just wanted to provide a bit of background on our institution. So McMaster University is a research-intensive public university with a full-time equivalent enrollment of a little over 35,000 students, and it's located in Hamilton, Ontario, which is about an hour away from Toronto. McMaster Libraries is made up of two library systems, the McMaster University Library and the Health Sciences Library, and the tools that we're talking about today are shared across both systems. McMaster University recognizes and acknowledges that it is located on the traditional territories of the Mississauga and the Haudenosaunee Nations, and within the lands protected by the Dish with One Spoon Wampum Agreement. What this means for us as collections librarians is that we have a duty to ensure that the materials we're collecting also reflect the needs and perspectives of our Indigenous communities. This includes actively seeking out content created by Indigenous authors, scholars, and creators. It's crucial that our collections not only preserve Indigenous knowledge, but also provide space for their voices in current and future scholarship. To move beyond the land acknowledgement, we'd like to shine a spotlight on the Native Women's Shelter, a local organization that provides safe emergency shelter and assistance to women experiencing crisis in their lives due to family violence, homelessness, or conflict with the law. You can email aoa@nativewomencenter.com to find out about making a monetary donation. I'll now pass it over to Casey, who will be going over collection assessment tools.
With the expense of tools and the time to develop appropriate expertise, it is optimal to select tools that are affordable and provide solutions to problems that we encounter. When it comes to collection assessment, two major questions rise to the top. How do we know what we have? What are strengths and weaknesses of our collection? And how do we know what is being used? And likewise, what is not being used? Looking at the question, how do we know what we have? McMaster Libraries are working on several different projects relating to collection assessment. We're currently partnering with Ithaca S&R on a project called Assessing the Diversity of Library Collections. We're documenting collections of record, our strengths, and this is modeled after the University of Guelph, outlining our collection strengths and weaknesses that we have. We are also comparing our collection strengths against our peers' collections to determine how we can be an asset in consortial borrowing. And for that, we're using Choreo InCites from OCLC for real-time collection analysis. And what this allows us to do is to look at strength and gap analysis and peer comparison analysis. As you can see on the screen here, the screenshot from OCLC shows peer comparison as well as what your collections look like in terms of strengths and weaknesses. However, there are some things to watch out for when using Choreo InCites. Choreo InCites is only as good as the metadata available and the currency of records of comparison institutions in WorldCat. It does take some time to learn the platform as well. In our circumstances, this has been a high-level analysis tool that allows us to focus on specific areas using more refined tools such as ALMA Analytics for circulation statistics. When trying to understand what is being used, specifically relating to electronic resources, McMaster Libraries has elected to use JUSP, the Journal Usage Statistics Portal, from the Joint Information Systems Committee. JUSP uses counter statistics to provide usage data that can be saved for reporting purposes, such as reports that need to go to ACRL, CARL, CARL, and used for accreditation reports and general resource assessments, and to look at usage trends. I know the picture is a little blurry here from the JUSP website, but it does show the usage statistics and trends of various electronic resources that you have in your library. And it's especially useful to provide that it provides those visualizations to understand data in a better context. However, it does require large time investment to use JUSP. The statistics are imported using the Sushi protocol, which means that accounts will need to be set up, and this takes a lot of time. This resource should be used for the longer term. Also, it can only handle counter statistics, so non-compliant vendors and resources will need to be evaluated separately, which can be difficult when you are trying to compare one resource against the other. Next, we'll move on to looking at tools used for access.
I'll be talking about how we are adopting new tools to improve user access to digital library collections. A few years ago, we subscribed to Sage's Lean Library app to improve the user experience when it came to accessing library resources from wherever people are searching online. Lean Library is an app that notifies and links users to ebooks and journal articles that they have access to through their institution's library. The extension is available on all major browsers. If an ISBN, ISSN, or digital object identifier is present when a user is on Google Scholar or even websites like Wikipedia, Lean Library can provide a link for them to access the resource if it's in the library's holdings. The app uses McMaster's authentication system to connect users with a full-text article. If the resource is not available through the library, Lean Library will instead provide a link to our interlibrary loan request form. There are a lot of benefits to Lean Library. This tool can really improve access for users that don't search via the library website or discovery service. It can also integrate with other services we subscribe to, like scite, a tool which my colleague Wei will go into greater depth on later in this session. Lean Library's customized domain messaging feature is also useful. For instance, McMaster has set up a personalized assist message to pop up for users that go to use Covidence. Lean Library will notify users that they have access through McMaster and provides them with a guide on how to access the platform. The Librarian's dashboard is another positive component that provides access to usage reports, as well as configuration and integration tools. There are unfortunately also some drawbacks with Lean Library. Despite a lot of promotion of the tool in McMaster, it's only effective if users download the extension to their browser. Unfortunately, only 2% of our student population is recorded as actively using Lean Library so far in 2024, and that means there's a significant percentage of users that are not seeing any improvement in access to resources as a result. Another limitation of this app is that it only provides direct linking to online journals and ebooks. Given the drawbacks that we've noted with Lean Library, we thought it would be beneficial to explore other tools that may be able to help reach more users. As a result, we recently trialed and have now subscribed to the LibKey and browsing suite of tools provided by Third Iron. The tools are built to provide linking to journal articles and, in some cases, ebooks via DOI metadata registered through Crossref. There are 5 tools that are used with different library systems and platforms. LibKey Discovery is a tool that is integrated with our Primo Discovery service that creates direct links to access the article in PDF or HTML form from the search results page. LibKey Nomad is a browser extension that is very similar to Lean Library. It can provide direct linking to articles and ebooks on a wide variety of websites, databases, and aggregators. LibKey.io functions a lot like a legal version of Sci-Hub. It is a portal that uses a DOI search to determine if users have access to journal articles through their affiliated institution. LibKey Link is used for direct full-text linking on a variety of different databases and aggregators, including EBSCO, Google Scholar, ProQuest, Web of Science, and many others. Lastly, the browsing app allows users to create reading lists and themed shelves of journal publications that are available through the library. There are definitely some benefits to LibKey and browsing. The abundance of different tools available means that there's improved access to library resources on many different platforms. Tools like LibKey Discovery and LibKey Link ensure that the experience of accessing resources can be improved without any additional work or setup required by the user. LibKey also provides added convenience from having a built-in API on lens.org, a bibliometric tool that my colleague Andrea will be discussing later in the presentation. While Lean Library uses their integrations with scite to notify users of retractions, LibKey have a similar function built into their tools that provides information on retractions from Retraction Watch. There are also, unfortunately, some drawbacks. Since Third Iron's linking technology is dependent on detecting DOI metadata, these tools work primarily with journals. The exception is LibKey Nomad browser extension, which can link to ebooks using ISBN recognition. Also, compared to Lean Library's Librarian dashboard, the admin portal for LibKey Nomad is much more limited. Third Iron provides monthly usage reports to subscribing institutions, but there's no way to access or interact with the usage data in the same way that you can with the Lean Library's portal. Now we'll be moving on to talking about tools our collections team have adopted to provide support for open access publishing.
Hello, I'm Janice Adlington, Head of Collections and Content Strategy at the McMaster University Library, and I'm here to talk about 3 open access support tools, one that's public for our users, SciFree, and 2 that are behind the scenes in our library. I'll start with SciFree, which has made a huge difference in our conversations with authors. The journal search tool allows authors to enter titles or ISSNs to see whether publications are covered by any of the library's publisher agreements. Like many libraries, we have an increasing number of transformative or read and publish agreements, currently more than 15, and some have complicated terms. They may exclude some titles, or they may only cover publications in hybrid journals. For us, implementing SciFree meant never having to share Excel title lists with authors again, or explain what's meant by hybrid journal. If they're exploring journals to publish in, they can enter title keywords or broad disciplinary terms. The full list of journals covered can also be downloaded with these broad subjects. The subject search isn't great, and it's better to search other databases to identify where articles are typically published, and then to go to SciFree with these titles. Behind the scenes, this is driven by uploading spreadsheets with standardized data. Most of the publishers can provide what's needed, but editing and verifying can save some time. SciFree does provide consortial subscriptions, and while there's no central instance, the work preparing title lists can be done once and then uploaded by each participant. SciFree was founded by Benny Wickham, a researcher in molecular physics, and is driven by the needs of researchers. The company is based in Sweden and remains independent. The journal search tool has been accepted by institutions and consortia in a range of countries, including a new agreement with CRKN, Canada's national consortium. One criticism is that SciFree lists could prioritize traditional or APC-funded publications at the expense of Diamond or Born open journals. However, libraries can choose what's included, and SciFree provides online instructions showing how to add the 20,000 DOAJ journals, for example, to present a more complete range of open publishing options. The subscription cost is based on the number of agreements tracked with a price cap. The second tool is the OA Switchboard, which is used by our librarians as one way to see where our authors are publishing openly, whether or not we have a publisher agreement in place. The slide shows a sample from the web interface. The data is refreshed dynamically, and the best way to work with it is to download the report to Excel, where you can filter by publisher and additional fields not shown on the web. It's a very wide report. One key use of the switchboard is to identify publishers where an agreement would benefit the institution. However, not all publishers are covered. The number is growing and currently includes over 30 small and medium-sized publishers with Oxford, Cambridge, De Gruyter, and a range of scientific societies. But of the big five, only Wiley has currently announced plans to join. When talking with publishers, we do encourage them to connect with this service. A second challenge is around authors. Output from all authors is included based on ROR identifiers. The corresponding authors are identified, but the report needs to be looked at closely to determine the institution's involvement and who would have paid an APC, for example. However, having the data consolidated this way is very useful. The Switchboard was developed as an initiative OASPA. It's governed by an independent foundation based in the Netherlands. Pricing is transparent based on institution size and is posted on their website, and consortial subscriptions are also available. The executive director, Yvonne Kampens, actively distributes information and hosts data challenges where developers and users discuss data issues, and the resource is actively under development, and additional information about funders and grants are being added. OADAT is the third resource, and it's new to us. We're only just beginning to explore it. You may be familiar with the reports that Delta Think sends out on trends in open access publishing. OADAT consolidates data from 30 to 50 most significant publishers and provides interactive tools and reports to dig into this data. OADAT is typically used by publishers to obtain competitive market intelligence and benchmarking information. For example, they can quickly see competitors list APC ranges and rates when setting their own APCs for the year. The snippet on the screen shows some of the filters by year, publisher, OA type that can be dynamically adjusted. In this case, it shows range, and I think you all can identify the publisher and journal with the $12,000 APC. Reports can be easily exported to Excel for further analysis. The data is refreshed on an annual basis and includes reports on funding, market sizing, publication volumes, and APCs. It doesn't include any data on universities or institutions. As a library, we're most interested in the trends year over year. Delta Think is a consulting firm with a nearly 20-year history of providing market intelligence. OADAT was launched in 2017 and includes data from 2016 onwards. Pricing is based on the number of user seats with access by username and password. We've subscribed at the 1 to 2 seat level, which is the lowest level, and we're still determining the value for our institution.
Hello, my name is Andrew McClellan, and today I'll be discussing 6 bibliometric databases: Web of Science and InCites, Dimensions Analytics, OpenAlex, Overton, and Lens. Bibliometrics tools are used to describe an institution's written output, for example, articles, conferences, books, or patents. They include a variety of information that's used to describe, compare, and benchmark an institution's activities. For example, a person may look at open access status of publications, or citation impact, or perhaps alt metrics. We will begin by looking at Web of Science and InCites. Web of Science is a large subscription database of over 87 million paywalled and open access publications. InCites is powered by Web of Science data, and there is generally a lag between the data when it's published in Web of Science and when it becomes available in InCites. The tools are used to analyze an institution's research landscape. InCites is an add-on product which allows for sophisticated analysis of research productivity and benchmarking. Web of Science's strength is in grant data, and it generally does poorly with open access article analysis. One can develop complex searches quite easily in Web of Science, and it should be noted that the maximum export is about 1,000 records. APIs may be purchased, which allow for large downloads and analysis. Next, we will look at Dimensions database. Dimensions is a large subscription database of over 200 million paywalled and open access publications. Its focus is on grants, patents, clinical trials, datasets, policy documents, and technical reports. It is very similar in function to Web of Science, but it does a better job with pre-populated visualizations of an institution's research landscape. Its unique strength is altmetrics, and it includes patent data and field citation ratio. It should be noted that funding information in Dimensions can be unreliable. Currently, the product offers an AI app called Dimensions ResearchGPT. The maximum download of citations is 5,000, and beyond that, an institution can purchase an add-on called Dimensions API. And now we will look at OpenAlex. OpenAlex is a favor amongst libraries because the data is open and there is no subscription cost for basic functions. OpenAlex contains over 250,000 Creative Commons licensed scholarly works that can be shared freely. It has a simple interface, though running complex searches can be cumbersome, and it is also slow to export records without an API. API limit on the free account is 100,000 per day, and it's unlimited through a subscription upgrade. It has an amazing 176 data points, and these generally need API data extraction and in-house visualization to really maximize their use. Its many data strengths includes unique information on CC BY license type and APC cost and currency. The first of two specialized bibliometric databases we will look at is Overton. Overton specializes in policy documents. Overton contains over 13 million policy documents, and it is used to analyze research impact by connecting institutional researchers to policy generation. Authors use this tool to demonstrate their impact in the research environment. It also connects grants to real-world outcome measures, which institutions and granting agencies often like to see. The tool like Overton will help library collections explore what journal investments support this type of work. It is a subscription-based product, and one may export up to 1,200 citations, and an API is available. Last, we will look at Lens. Lens is a unique, freely available product that specializes in patents. As you can see from this screenshot, the data points included in Lens are quite unique and cover legal content and jurisdiction. The rich amount of data included in this patent database allows us to create research profiles on institutional impact and to see which journals are supporting this activity in our institution. Next, I will pass it over to Wei, who will talk about artificial intelligence.
Hello, everyone. I'm Wei Zhang, and I'm going to briefly discuss the emerging AI and generative AI products in our toolbox. Let's start with Scite, a bibliometric database that uses smart citations. It doesn't just count citations, but classifies them based on context, identifying whether a citation supports, mentions, or contrasts with the claims in the cited work. Scite boasts over 2 billion unique citations, 1.3 billion citation statements, and indexes 34.5 million full texts, both open access and licensed content. As you can see in this example, the citation of this article are categorized into supporting, mentioning, and contrasting opinions. Interestingly, the 8 questioning citations might have contributed to the eventual retraction of this article. Once a user drills down to the article level, Scite allows them to refine results by searching within the citation statements, browse citations by which section the paper has been cited, and read the full text if McMaster has access. This step is key to better understanding how research is interconnected. An interesting development in early 2023, 1 year after ChatGPT's release, Scite introduced the Assistant feature, powered by a model similar to ChatGPT. This assistant helps users find research-backed information by querying its citation index. The Scite Assistant can provide answers that are more grounded in real research by directly pulling from research papers, thus reducing hallucinations, a problem common with AI-generated responses. It allows for customized settings and even DOI-specific searches. It can also handle natural language queries to identify a specific source. However, there are limitations. The assistant might not capture nuanced meanings, particularly across different linguistic or cultural contexts. It may cite real references in a misleading way or provide inconsistent results, raising concerns about reproducibility. In addition to Scite, we are in the early stages of exploring two other tools that are worth noting. Dimension's ResearchGPT, which is currently free for all users, integrates with ChatGPT, which means users must have a ChatGPT account to use it. By connecting to the Dimensions database via an API, the responses from Dimensions ResearchGPT are grounded in research, making them less prone to hallucinations as well. Another tool we are exploring is Scopus AI, which may have been inconveniently renamed as Copilot. This tool is available as an add-on to the Scopus database subscription. Our primary concern with Scopus AI is that it only searches abstract content from Scopus, covering around 7,000 titles, 30% of which are Elsevier titles, with no open access content included. To help us stay up to date with this rapidly evolving field, we've created a shared Google Sheet tracking AI technology in library subscribed resources, and we encourage your contributions and feedback. As we continue to assess generative AI tools, we'll be considering several key criteria: feasibility, cost, and user needs, alongside a range of ethical considerations. These include concerns around intellectual property, the potential impact on employment, environmental factors, data security, misinformation, bias, transparency, and accountability. Thank you, and now I'll hand it over to Paige to wrap things up.
So as you've seen, we have quite a few different tools that we use or subscribe to, and some of them have overlapping functionality or are still awaiting further evaluation to determine their usefulness. Like Cameron mentioned, Lean and LibKey both have the browser extension to facilitate off-campus access, but the LibKey suite has a bit more functionality. Given how many different tools we currently subscribe to, in the future, we're going to need to evaluate their functionality and cost effectiveness. So some broad considerations would be usage data, user feedback, the overall cost, or even if something is interesting, does it solve a current issue, or is it just kind of nice to have? Are there areas where we could consolidate tools to reduce redundancy and costs? These are a couple things that we'd be thinking about. So thank you for listening to our presentation. I hope this was useful for anyone considering their own collections toolkit. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to Wei, whose email is listed on the slide. Bye.